I'll try to go here quickly and give you a little bit of a flavor in this sermon at time about what has been going on since we were online with you, I think 3 weeks ago. First of all, let's just remind ourselves of Matthew 24:14, which is the final sign before the end of this age. That the whole chapter starts out by the disciples asking Christ for a sign of his return and of the end of the age. And so he answers them and gets down to verse 14. And in verse 14 he says, this is the final sign. That's essentially a way to interpret what he has said there. This gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world for a witness to all nations, and then shall the end come, when that has been accomplished. And so we're to understand it won't be coming until that has been accomplished. So we took this kind of personally ourselves, a number of us there in the area, and we have been working for, well, it's been now 20 years since we first came to Estonia. We actually started to try and do it as early as 1995. But in 1997 we came here to Estonia and we began to look into the possibility to translate and distribute information about the gospel of the kingdom to people in this part of the world who had really been deprived of it for a long, long period of time in a way that it wasn't true in the United States. So we considered it a special opportunity to be able to help bring that information to people in this part of the world. Well, I have a couple of instances since we last spoke to you. We were in Johnnie, Finland on the Friday following that Sabbath service, and we saw Cloke and Margaret Doe. And they are very, very congenial hosts. They have a small apartment, but they give up everything they have for us to be able to be there, and they really, really appreciate the opportunity to have Bible studies. And they kind of, to use the old adage, ride the horse till he's wet, and put him away while he's wet. And so I felt like the horse who had been ridden hard and put away wet whenever I finished a day of Bible study with the does. And they are just so appreciative. It really makes it seem worthwhile for us to make that trip. It's a 4-day trip to go up there and visit them because of the distance between where we are and Johnnie, Finland. And so we got there on Friday and we got back to Tartu just about Tuesday. I mean, it was right at midnight on Monday we got back here. A couple of things that we saw there which might be of interest to you. Number one was a metal drum that they had gotten from the land that they came from, Burma, and it was a cultural symbol of the Karen people. Burma is made up of a number of different nationalities, but Cloke and Margaret are Karen, and they speak the Karen language, and so they had wanted to get this so that it could be preserved as a symbol of the culture from where they came. It was really priced out of sight as far as they were concerned. It was a 650 euro, that's maybe close to $700, purchase for them, but they purchased it. I don't know where they floated the money from, but they purchased it and they had it there in their house. And they're hopeful that all of the Karen people that are in the area of Finland are going to contribute to it and it was quite an interesting thing for them to see, for us to see. The thing about them being Karen, we found out something that I had no idea about, and it is separately and independently derived from the Bible. It doesn't come from somebody having read the Bible and extrapolated this in. This actually comes from the history and the traditions that were passed down for a couple of thousand years from their ancestors, and it goes through which countries they migrated through and so on. But what's really interesting about it is it confirms the accounts of the Bible, but they are independently derived. In their information that they gave us in some publications that had been taken and put into these publications from the oral traditions that had been passed down, they are descended from Shem. And they know that. They have traced it. They have kept that orally throughout their lives. They are past they are descended from Shem and Noah, and they know that they were in the land of Babylon before the Tower of Babel, but they were so unhappy with the way things were going in Babylon that they left before Nebuchadnezzar started to build that, not Nebuchadnezzar, but Nimrod started to build that tower. They left and got out of there because of that. So very interesting to see that and to see independently derived information about that source. So that has been passed down for a period of 4,500 years. Gospel of the Kingdom is going to be preached into all the world for a witness to all nations. So that kind of rings in your ears when you encounter something like that. And then last weekend, thanks to Artur and his arranging things, we went to Riga, and we spent the Sabbath day with a group of Russian-speaking Sabbath keepers that live in the Riga area. It's interesting how we got there. I was planning to take a bus that would get there just about midnight. It seemed to be the only feasible alternative bus ride, but Artur suggested, well, maybe you can take the train. Checked it out. Wasn't easy to check it out, but I checked it out, and we got on a train out of Volga, which was about a 4-hour train ride, and we got in, I think, about 6 o'clock in the evening into Riga, and we were met there by Edgar's, and he took us, and he and his father Ivan's hosted us there that evening, and we went to a lady's house who is named in our language Vera, I guess, but in Russian Vera means faith. And so, well-named lady, and she put on the dog for us. If probably Artur may not know that idiomatic expression, put on the dog, but I know you know it. It means she did everything, Artur, for us to have a really enjoyable evening. We went the next morning to the Sabbath service, and they asked me to speak, and there's about 35 of them there, and we had a very congenial service. There's a difference between what we believe and what some of them believe. There is a mixed group there. Some of them believe strongly in keeping all of the holy days. Others of them don't seem to understand all of the holy days and are interested in learning, and yet they have their own traditions, as you can imagine. So anyway, I gave a sermon about the 3 days and 3 nights. I called it The Proof. How do you know and prove that Christ is the Messiah? He gave one sign and one sign only in Matthew chapter 12, that he was the Messiah. 3 days and 3 nights in the grave. And I went through that in maybe a little bit different way than I had ever gone through it before, but I kind of saved the coup de grace till the end. When you go to John chapter 19 or 20, and there it says that Sabbath was a high day. And somebody in the congregation, they had been reading it the week before, had asked why that was in there. In their Russian Bible, it doesn't say it exactly the same way. It says that Sabbath was a great Sabbath. And so they haven't connected it up with the holy days. But I wanted to bring that out as the conclusive point, so without saying you really need to pay attention to the holy days because they are Sabbath days. I hope they got the point that that was an important thing to notice. And so we'll see what God is doing. But it was really nice occasion. And as we're going to all of these different places, I think vicariously, those of you who don't get to do the same things as we do will enjoy getting a report on it. We are here for like 4 more days. We've got to finish up the mailings. There's a lot of mailing to do yet. I think we've got about close to 1,000 envelopes going into Russia, and we have about maybe 600-700 going into the Ukraine, plus smaller numbers going into Belarus, Moldova, and Latvia. So all of that remains to be done. Hazel has really been doing a lot of work in regard to that. She entered all of the information in the databases, and that was something that I had always done before, but she did it quite competently this time, and so we're looking at the possibility of actually getting all of this done, except for the part we're going to dump on Valdur when he gets back here from London. And so that's what we're doing, and we're looking forward to completing that. We don't look forward to leaving here, but we do look forward to being back and seeing all of you.